Hello and welcome to another television review from MBE. Very spur of the moment, John. We've decided to ditch our news items and go right into doing a television review
Can you
for
tell?
the latest Disney Plus offerings. It's Wandavision, episode 1 and 2. We're going to start with episode 1 just now. We'll take a little short break and then we'll come back for episode 2. We're just fresh off the heels, John, of watching both these episodes. And that's okay, it's fine. It's bright and it's
Stephen, I put
dazzling.
that together in 5 minutes. Saber Effect, After Effects, whilst watching the first episode. It is utter shite. It's a holding logo till we get our shit together.
Yeah. As I said, John, it was very spur of the moment. I messaged you about 8 o'clock tonight and says, do you want to do it? Rather than what we were going to talk about, which was not really anything that
Ray
interesting,
Fisher.
to be honest with you. We're going to talk about Ray Fisher, we're going to talk about Warner Brothers' new logo, Ben Affleck complimenting Kevin Feige. WandaVision is what's happening, and we're going to be reviewing these episodically every week until, I don't know how many episodes there is, 9 or 10, John, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
How long do we have to
something
wait,
we've been-
Stephen, for the episode 3? I think we get 2,
Well, I don't
and I
know.
think it's quite a wait till episode 3. I think it's a couple of
well,
weeks.
Yeah, we'll playlist these anyway, John. We'll put them into their own specific one on our YouTube channel. But listen, I'd just like to thank you for joining us once again here on our YouTube channel and, of course, our Twitch stream. Hopefully, it's on Twitch as well. And we're going to just crack on with this, John,
Give us
because
a
you've got the guideline, and I'm going to just pass it over to you now, and you can take us through this review experience for episode 1. It doesn't have a title, doesn't it? Not. There's no named titles. It's just episode 1. So I'll hand it over to you now.
Yeah, Stephen, obviously hugely anticipated this. This is the first foray into the medium of TV for Marvel, for the MCU. Everybody was excited about it. I was very excited about it. And of course, the ramifications this is going to have for the next couple of years, hopefully, next year anyway. Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man 3. This is huge. Feige told us you have
massive.
to watch this if you want to stay in the loop with the MCU. And of course we did watch it. We watched the first 2 episodes back to back. And Stephen, what an intro to that first episode. The classic MCU theme. Dun, 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 dun,
Fantastic, yeah.
into black and white. And the audio, the ratio changed. The audio sounded as though it was coming out of an old TV from the 1950s. It was
John,
a great start.
My 4-month-old baby was watching that intro and was absolutely buzzing for the Marvel intro.
Yes.
Just the
There
build
you
up to it. So that says it all. A
Start
4-month-old
them young.
baby. Yep, as well, this is it. They've got good taste at that age.
They have. Stephen, you can't help but have good taste when Kevin Feige is churning this level of content out. Stephen, I love the intro. It was a new married couple. They're coming into their house. She's levitating boxes. There's all sorts of shenanigans going on. And early on, they established this sort of strange paradox that Wanda Maximoff has created or is being forced into is very much 50s TV show or 60s TV show, black and white. They've got everything.
Yeah.
They've got canned laughter tracks. They've got audience reacting to everything. And it was absolutely bizarre, the first 15 minutes or so of this, try to acquiesce into this way of thinking, because this is not like any other Marvel product we have seen to date. But it's a special day for the couple, and they can't quite fathom why. There's a little love heart over, I think, the 23rd of August, I think is the calendar date. They can't fathom why. They're trying to find out what the hell is going on, why they're here, why is it an anniversary, what is going on. And that's just a general theme throughout this whole episode. They're trying to get their bearings, and they never can get their bearings. What did you make about the intro? What did you make about also him going off to work and she's saying, don't forget, and he's like, oh, hello,
change your face.
and he does that. And obviously the line, my wife and her flying saucers, my husband and his indestructible head. Great back and forth, great chemistry
John,
between these two.
The script for this first episode was first class. Absolutely fantastic. Every line, after seeing this maybe a few times, will be so quotable. It's that good. You know, the writing in this episode. You're talking about transitioning to the black and white, and obviously the change in audio as well. I suppose we should talk about the aesthetics of, you know, this show as well, because it's a big part of what attracted us to this television series before we even saw it.
Yep.
You know, we got that first trailer and it just blew our minds. Well, watching this first episode, I wasn't disappointed.
Coasters?
Definitely. Yeah.
The platters.
Yeah.
The platters.
Yeah, that's right. The Platters, yeah,
Twilight.
yeah.
Yes.
And just everything about it, just we were talking about this, I think maybe at the start of this week or the end of last week, when I was talking about this is, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany's chance to really show us what they can do with these characters out with the sort of stuffiness of the Avengers model, if you like, and it didn't disappoint. Paul Bettany for me, John, was absolutely amazing. Just his range. I knew he was a good actor anyway. One of the first films I saw him in, I think, was Wimbledon about 20 years ago, and I just knew then. And I always remember as well that when they were talking about a Batman reboot, there was heavily hinting that he would possibly be up for the Joker role, which he sadly didn't get.
Stephen, got that languid, sort of gangly, lanky physique, so he certainly could play it. It'd be comic book accurate physique-wise.
Yeah, but everything about it, John, just, it had that I Dream of Jeannie bewitched vibe about it, and that was something I was looking forward to seeing, because there's always something about that period in time in the 50s, American sitcoms, that kind of creeps me out a little bit.
Yep.
The sort of cleanliness, just a very clean people.
It's a very clean man.
And just the environment they live in, it's just so Pleasantville-esque, and just there's something creepy about that, just everything's so perfect and in place, nothing's out of place. But John, this episode, and I know we'll talk about episode 2 as well, it goes to some dark places as well, which I liked.
It does, Stephen. There's a particular moment in this episode which is unnerving, very unnerving, just because of the reactions and the sort of surrealness of this setting, because we know as the audience this ain't real. This is a sort of made up world, a creation of Wanda Maximoff's perhaps grief-stricken mind.
Are you not glad that they didn't get into that though? Are you glad they just kind of went into the sitcom environment without a sort of origin or how this started? Because that's part of the intrigue, isn't it?
It is, Stephen. We don't need it. We don't need the intro. This will all be explained. She's appearing as a guest in Multiverse of Madness. We know that Cumberbatch is appearing in this, isn't he? I'm sure he's making an appearance in this, perhaps in the final episode. We don't need an introduction. This could have been like the what is he called? The villain in the Doctor Strange one, in Gomadou or something. This could have been looping eternally, what we're seeing here, because something happens interesting in the second episode, but she sort of rewinds, and it's almost as if she has full control over what's happening. She could have relived this an infinite amount of times. We don't need an introduction, is what I'm saying. So, no, I'm glad they didn't bog it down with exposition and stuff like that. It's just...
John, do you want to go to a wide shot of yourself
so
I can do a bit of a sound check?
Yes, I'll go to the wide shot of
okay,
ourselves. I'm hoping the sound's working, because both of the audio tracks are certainly moving about. So I'm glad they didn't go for exposition. I'm glad they just thrust us right into this sort of sitcom environment, and we were as dumbstruck and out of sync with what was happening as the two main characters. They didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what was going on. They're the sort of our eyes in this world and what's going on. Stephen, of course, Vision goes to work, and this theme of being out of time, being out of sync with what's going on, not really knowing why he's doing, not really knowing what the magnificence of this day was, continues. He's sitting in his work. He's a keen worker, and he's working up, screwed it. He's a very quick worker too, but he's saying to his co-worker, what the hell are we doing here? What is the point of this? And then he sets up the meeting with his boss, the dinner party, if you'd like, and he thinks that's it. That's the eureka moment. Yes, that's the special moment. That's why this calendar has been marked out. Meanwhile, Wanda Maximoff is thinking it's an anniversary she's having back and forth with her neighbour, who's very, very good, incidentally, Agnes, Kathleen Hahn. She is absolutely brilliant in this. Her face rings a bell to me. I want to say she was perhaps in Californication or something, but I may be thinking about someone else. But Steve, what did you make about him going to work and just the general vibe? I've not got a spine and things like that. He's making little remarks. He's so funny in this, Paul Bettany. He's like, I laugh a minute.
So, I like his suits as well.
Yeah.
His suits are very dapper, but this kind of made me realise that perhaps it's not the subconscious of Wanda, because we're actually getting to see Vision out and about, and living his part of his life, which has nothing to do with, obviously, Wanda when he's out working and stuff like that. Because I thought it was going to be that way where it was all in her head, but I don't know. Oh, it might be explained, but it kind of made me think, perhaps it's not just her sort of, her world building, because this is happening out with obviously her site,
Yeah.
if you like, you know.
Well, if you
But
recall
it was
from the
very
trailer,
funny.
if you recall from the trailer, Stephen, there was a sort of bubble type thing going on, and this government agency were looking in, and you're having that calling, who's doing this to you? Why is this happening? I think this town exists. I think the people exist separate to Wanda and Vision, and I think she's manipulating, or something is manipulating and creating this alternate dimension reality, and they're all sort of puppets within it, and there's a puppet master. That's why I think it's not her subconscious. I think we are going off and seeing different characters. So, yeah. But Steve, there's something about this, the feel of this. It's just, it's ballsy from Kevin Feige and Marvel to take this off in this direction, because this is not like anything we've ever seen from a Marvel product. This 50s sitcom-ish type thing, canned laughter, jokes a minute. It has that Marvel humour and elements, but it's different to anything we've ever seen.
John,
and it's ballsy. They have to be applauded.
Yeah, they could have went the safe option and did a show like this with characters we've not seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact they've took two of the important characters from an Avengers movie. All characters are important in an Avengers movie, but and putting them in a different situation and opening them up to an almost, like you said, a 50s sitcom, you know, and having that environment and cracking a joke every like 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. It definitely is a brave thing to do, you know, but this is Kevin Feige we're talking about. This is Marvel we're talking about, you know, that they never seem to put a foot wrong. You know, they map this out, they plan it out, and they knew that they'd have to take this brave step, that first sort of step into, you know, opening our minds up to multiverses and stuff like that. And this is the best way to do it. I think maybe perhaps the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, if that came first, it might have been a little bit too much to begin with. Yeah. But this is a perfect way to just dip your toes in.
Absolutely, Stephen. And of course, the other neat element, which is different, and we're going to get more of when Deadpool 3 hits, is this semi-breaking of the fourth wall. These two main characters know that they know what they are, that they're different, and that this is all a facade, and they are almost speaking amongst themselves. And you see it from a line, you move at the speed of sound, and I can make a pen float through the air. What's the need for abbreviations? So I like that element. They're in the joke. The rest of the people around haven't got a clue. They have that awareness, if you'd like, But Steve, the best part of this whole episode is the dinner party. Just the chaos of it. Yeah. We've got Paul Bettany playing a ukulele. I don't know if I've spelt that right in that actual guideline there. And we've got, obviously, Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda trying to factor up a sort of a dinner, if you like. There's lobsters levitating, there's all sorts of crazy shit happening. And then we have that sinister moment. What did you make about this? We've got Paul Bettany dancing and singing at one point. This is the whole lexicon of this sort of, the themes of this whole episode of this show, and a microcosm really in this one scene. It's crazy. There's awareness, there's singing, there's dancing, there's sinister tones. It's crazy. I love this scene.
Yeah, the format of it, John, and everything was leading to the dinner party as well, as you said, John. But just the whole format of the show, you know, having that sort of advertisement break in the middle as well, the toaster was very clever. I liked that.
Forget the past.
It gave it that sort of sitcom feel, you know, where you got the advertisement break in the middle.
Almost like the Truman Show.
Yeah, very much like it, you know, and and I think, who are you talking to? What has this got to do with anything? Love that scene, but yeah, I think just something about that scene as well. That's when the sort of cross wires as well, because of obviously the date on the calendar. The heart was actually representing his boss, Mr. and Mrs. Hart. Wanda thought it was a romantic date, like an anniversary. She's dressed up, obviously very slinky. He kept complimenting the dress as well, which was really fun.
She's European.
He obviously liked her in that dress. And the whole European thing as well was very funny, you know, breakfast for dinner. I like that as well. Sometimes we do that, don't we? We have fry-ups for dinner,
Stephen, it works. It does work.
But you're talking about that scene, John, that sort of... It's a very dark scene, I feel. You know, but you knew it was coming because, as I said earlier, you know, there's something about these 50s sitcoms that give me the creeps anyway. So you mentally prepare for something really dark and sinister about to happen. It was obviously Mr. Hart, Vision's boss, is choking on a piece of sausage meat or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, and Stephen, it's sinister. Yeah, that scene, that moment in particular was really unnerving because the wife's saying Stop it. Come on, stop it. She's smiling, and it's almost as if she is aware that Wanda Maximoff can stop this, and she's looking at her, stop it. Very unnerving. It's the yin to the yang of the Mrs. Doubtfire scene, where you've got Robin Williams jumping over and doing the sort of, what is it, the Heim, whatever the hell that is, Heimlock manoeuvre, I don't know. That was the yin to the yang of that. This is really dark and sinister. That was ridiculous and outlandish, as a Robin Williams movie should be. Don't know why Mrs. Doubtfire is getting brought up in the Wandavision review, but hey ho, it happened, and we just have to move on with it. But yeah, the other reason I really liked this scene, as an aside to the sort of dancing act of Paul Bettany and the levitation of Wanda Maximoff, i.e. obviously Elizabeth Olsen, was the probing nature of it. They were being made to feel uncomfortable. Where does your story start? How did you get married? They are probing with questions. Yeah. So I like that element. Of course, they dance around it and manage.
It's almost as if they don't know, though, John, because they're looking at each other, and that's a subtle way of fantasy. Kind of letting the audience know that perhaps it's not them; it's controlling everything. You know, it might not be them controlling everything. I don't know. Yeah, you do have a theory, John. It's a very interesting one as well. Yeah.
I think it's Hydra.
It could be.
We'll get into that in the second episode review, though, why I think it's Hydra, because there is a little Easter egg in there. I think they're up to some shenanigans and they are manipulating it, and they genuinely do not know why they're there, how the hell they got there, and what's going on. There's no story there, because they can't tell it, so there's clearly no story. But Steve, no, I really enjoyed this episode. Paul Bettany, for me, stand out by a country mile. He's acting, you touched upon it earlier, this guy can do everything. He's done Wimbledon, he's done Gangster #1, he's done Fire and Dross, I think it was, from Solo. This guy can do everything. He's a sort of, what's the name of it?
Jack of all trades.
A jack of all trades. I was thinking about the actual bird that changes, and the actual lizard thing that changes as well.
Yeah, chameleon.
Chameleon. He's a chameleon of an actor. He can fit to play any role, any sort of genre, and he does it in this, and he's absolutely superb. Stephen, overall thoughts on this episode? Was this what you were expecting? It certainly wasn't what I was expecting, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
It was absolutely more than I was expecting. I really loved the trailer. It just intrigued me so much, excited me, and we finally got it dropping here today in the UK on Disney Plus, and I just couldn't wait to watch it. Yep. You know, and when I did watch that first episode, that's when I messaged you. I said we need to review this because it's absolutely fantastic. Loved it, absolutely loved it. As a first episode, pilot episode technically. Yep. It's hit the ground running.
It has, Stephen, and this just wets my juices, my anticipatory juices for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness 2, because we're going to get some shenanigans like that as well, you know, in that movie on a huge scale. And it could be the likes of Captain America returning that movie in very different forms. But look, that's going to round up our review of episode 1 of Wandavision. What was your thoughts on it? If you've got anything to share about your experience watching this, you can comment below in the comment section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitch if you want to see more content like this in the future, and if you do, that's what we'll get, guys. But look, we'll be back in about 5 minutes for our review of episode 2. Bye bye.